So now we're recording our call. So hello, my name is Taras. I would like to start this meeting by start talking about our releases. So we finally rolled out the preview release of PMM 226, and we're planning to deliver it publicly on the February 3rd, this Thursday. And as for the release 227, we wanted to make it more like we decided to switch actually to scope-based releases. So there would be some timelines, of course, but they would be approximate, and the process is still in negotiations between stakeholders. And as soon as we have all the details, we will share them with you, all the timelines, what will be changed, how it can affect you, okay? So it will be shared across all Percona. And then as for the demo, let's start with our core team. So I will stop sharing what we have for MongoDB lessons learned for collstat metrics. Who will be presenter here?
Jiří will present it.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay. Let me introduce what we did for Mongo Exporter in 2.26, and then others will show you it. So for this version, we did more than 10 tasks, and that is only for Mongo Exporter itself. Some of them are improvements. We also found several bugs which were here for some time, and nobody noticed them. And also fixed some technical debts and did refactor here. So what's new? Right now we're collecting diagnostic data, replica set status, top metrics, DB stats, index stats, and call stats. In style of MySQL exporter, we added different resolutions into Mongo Exporter. Before there was 1 second interval to scrape everything. Right now we have low resolution and a higher resolution here. In scope of higher resolution, we're getting diagnostic data, replica set status, and top metrics. And in scope of low resolution, we're getting DB stats, index stats, and call stats.
Sorry, Jiří, you're sharing your screen. We are looking to the Chrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you can see all tickets what we fixed, but it's not so important because we will show everything. Yeah, where I stop? Yeah, sure. You can increase and decrease intervals for these resolutions right in Grafana settings, and it's reflected into Mongo Exporter, same like in case of MySQL Exporter, for example. We have a new flag, enable all collectors, which enable all collectors, and you don't need to specify them one by one. Also, behavior of max collections limit were changed. You can set any number as limit. 0 is no limit, and in case of -1, PMM will set this limit automatically. If limit is reached, then top metrics, DB stats, index stats, and call stats are disabled from collecting. Next, we also refactored some part of code, and now Exporter is faster than before. That means you can handle more DBs and collections with same hardware. For future, we're planning to do even bigger refactor of code to make Exporter even faster with same hardware. That's actually everything from introduce, and let's jump on some demo. Nurlan, please, can you continue right now?
Sorry, Jiří, sorry for interruption, but
Mhm.
why we decided to work on these Mongo exporter improvements?
So if it's going to be recorded and published, we can say that.
No, I mean, so we had a feature request and we implemented the collstat and DBaaS, right? Metrics. The problem, most of these improvements and bugs, they came up after the really awesome QA testing. So this time, I mean, QA is improving, and this time they found the tons of the issues. First of all, because of the nature of the feature, with creating a lot of call stats, with creating a lot of collectors and many DBs, the load on the system increases, right? And the call stat matrix is quite resources hungry. So QA tested it really well so far, and the scalability of this issue uncovered a lot of problems with the code. And that's why we had a lot of improvements, that's why we had a lot of bugs, and we still have. Right now, I think Nurlan is fixing the last one, we hope. But again, the problem with this is not the scalability issue uncovered, is not the just bugs, but also a design problem. And I think Nurlan will go from here and describe us, show us what will be done, and also describe what kind of issues we have and why.
Yeah, so at the moment, we, as Denis mentioned, still have some performance problems with a lot of calls collections for collstat collector. So why do we have this problem right now? So we are going through all collections and trying to collect metrics from them. So for future, we are going to improve it to collect them in parallel and to share this collection so through this 1 minute timeline. So probably we will so decrease performance impact on DB server. That's what's planned at the moment. Also, we are planning to use this collect query parameters, so like different resolutions for MongoDB exporter and for Postgres exporter. So we found out that in Postgres exporter we are collecting everything in one resolution at the moment. So we fixed it. So we didn't fix it. We just decreased load on Postgres database at the moment. So, and we are going to improve it in near future. Right. And I think that's all what I wanted to share at the moment. And yeah, that's all. That's all what I wanted to share.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. We also have a document about smart metric collections. So where we are going to collect metrics from exporters. With so not only different resolutions, but also collect which metrics used by users more or less. So split by different collections and so on stuff. So make it really smart.
Yes, the problem here is like a design one. So we need to rethink how we approach the metric collection. We have more and more metrics, and collecting them with just a couple of intervals doesn't work, especially if we would like to collect a lot of them. And this is not only impacting the MongoDB, but also impacting the Postgres exporter. We needed to roll back custom queries because of that we found out that it takes too many resources. And the CPU usage increased significantly, and Postgres exporter doesn't support the different metrics interval. Even if it will still not solve the problem. So we need to approach this, and differently. We have the task for this quarter to investigate this smart metrics collection, what Nurlan said, and figure out how we collect these metrics. So there are a lot of
Dennis, did you just say that the custom queries were something that weren't working now, or are they working, and we just need to adjust them?
No, they work if you enable them by hands, but we wanted to include it into the PMM by default to collect the some of the additional metrics. But what we have found out that those queries that we would like to collect, they introduce the performance penalties, too much of them that we need to roll back.
Yeah, so all of them are running in high resolutions. So that's why we are getting this performance penalty. So we are going to fix it with introducing three resolutions in Postgres exporter, and collect some custom queries in medium, some of them in low resolution, which will make less impact on database server.
Or even smarter, we'll see. Let's go ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
just wondering if it might be worthwhile exploring if creating something like a plugin or an extension to collect those metrics might help reducing the load, similar to how pgstat monitor is doing it for Postgres. So kind of offloading the pre-processing a collection of data to something that is part of the database process and therefore uses less resources to collect that information. Just a food for thought.
I mean, this is what exporters should do. But yeah, we need to make them smarter. Not my exporters, but maybe how we do that. And we have also Puneet. If you don't have any other questions, maybe Puneet can share some details on the performance impact.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Is there any other question so far? Okay. So hi everyone. Basically, the good thing about MongoDB exporter changes was the requirement was pretty clear in terms of what we are trying to achieve and what's the end user setup that we should, be trying to validate against. So right from the start, it was pretty clear to the QA team that what we are supposed to do, and that's what we did during the last few weeks. I've done this document 3 or 4 times because every time I try to set up something, it kind of broke in some of the other places. Basically, we started off with, first we started off with the 4-core system and trying to, observe how is the behavior of MongoDB exporter in terms of if we increase the number of collections and databases on MongoDB instance, how is the monitoring load overall of MongoDB exporter and overall CPU usage on the node. The idea was we are not running any active sysbench. We were just trying to monitor the load that is generated by monitoring and MongoDB exporter. And we were also trying to observe if it's actually impacting MongoDB process on the client node and making sure that it's not really, harming the client node. So you can see I've produced a lot of stats, and it's still probably needs some more changes because we still have a couple of issues that we are still trying to figure out. There was a baseline that we set up with Roma, and we kind of discussed what we really need and what we should be, testing against in terms of performance. I'm not going to go into detail of each image and trying to show you, but I just want to highlight one specific few points that are being spoken about again and again in the call. So if you see, this is an instance that I'm running from last 2 days. I'm just going to minimize myself. There are different, the CPU cores used keeps on increasing because obviously we increase the number of collectors and databases on the instance and try to observe the usage by MongoDB exporter. If you observe here, the change happens when you actually change the scrape config to rare. And you can see how drastically the CPU usage obviously improves of MongoDB exporter. We are still in process of, validating a lot of stuff here, but I think I would ask Nailya to talk about all specific issues that she kind of discovered during the testing phase, and how we approach this from testing point of view also. Any questions for me?
Yeah, so you, like in the recent test, you didn't discover any like MongoDB usage increase, right? Just only exposure.
Yes, at least when I did not enable collstat, and I've just recently, like 45 minutes ago, I've just enabled all of them, including collstats. I'm just going to observe MongoDB process usage also, but at least not on the top and DB stats. I could not really observe any huge impact on MongoDB process.
Okay. Yeah, this is a challenge. I mean, this is where the monitoring shouldn't impact the actually the system under the monitoring. So we need to be really careful with this and make sure that we do not like consume all the connections. So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yes, I just wanted to show you, for example, in the last 30 minutes, it seems again, MongoDB exporter is the most resource consuming process on the host. So yeah, it looks like there's still scope of improvement, and all those spikes that you see here is because of the high resolution and low resolution implemented based on different collectors enabled on the system. So yeah,
cool, really nice investigation. Thank you, Puneet.
Nailya, would you like to talk about the issues that we discovered? I don't know if she's on the call.
Yes, I can, but so what I want to add that we spent a lot of time with testing MongoDB exporter, I would say, because there is, as Jiří said and Puneet said, that there was a lot of problems. We found it, and that some of the requirements was changed. Then we found the problem with TPU usage, for example, and decided to change max limit value to disable not 2 collectors but 4 additional new collectors. So we hope we tested everything. We don't have any huge problem with MongoDB exporter because, you know, performance was done and we are fixing last bugs. So yes, a lot of work was done.
Cool, thanks. And last thing I want to mention, Puneet, and you confirm that all of this stuff we did now manually will be automated in the future. I think that we have such tasks.
Yeah, we already have planned tasks for our team to automate all these verifications, at least the collector parameters and exporter parameters.
Thank you very much. I think this is all on this big topic. Actually, this took us 2 months, literally 2 months to test and fix all the issues and develop these features just because of the design issues and challenges on the scale. Okay, any questions to this? I think, Taras, we can move on.
Lens again raised hand.
Sorry. Just wondering, Puneet, can you share the link to that document you just opened with the benchmark results on the MongoDB channel?
Sure,
awesome.
I will do that.
Yeah. Okay. Then the next item would be smart metrics collection.
So we already mentioned that.
Yeah. It's part of that. So there is a link there in the document. You can look into that. How we would like to tackle this problem. This is what we mentioned.
Okay. Okay. Then Nurlan, still you. Research.
Okay. So recently we got a request to support SQL commenter. So as you know, SQL commenter is a library, not library, but methodology from Google to so comment your SQL requests. So it's like some key value with some space. So I can share some examples in my screen. Can you see my screen?
Nope.
Not yet. Okay.
Still you.
So,
yep. Now we can.
yeah. Okay. So mostly it's comments looks like this one. So just some trace information regarding some controller or DB driver and so on stuff. So in our case, it can be some app, maybe some part of your program or anything else. So I made some research. Can we support this for PMM? And so found a lot of libraries to parse SQL requests and so on stuff, but most of them couldn't parse, so ignores comments. So that's the problem that we have right now. And at the moment, we can support it for PostgreSQL if we use pgstat monitor extension, and we can do it for MongoDB. So because MongoDB, so it's not SQL, but it supports some comments, and we can use comments. So for MySQL and PostgreSQL with pgstat statements, we probably will have to implement this comment extraction by ourselves, and it will take some time. So hardest part of this is just writing parser for SQL. That's
okay.
all.
Okay. And implementing these parsers, how our users will benefit from it, or we?
So
who will
all
benefit
this,
from it?
Yeah, so definitely users will benefit from it. All these values that I shared here, so like key value stuff, can be added as labels. So, and user will be able to filter their queries in query analytics just by so selecting right value. So,
yeah, for example, you would like to see how much your application impacted the performance, like what kind of queries it executes, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, so you can add some extra values like so also you can write something like this script or something else, and you will see what has highest impact on your system. So in our system, they all will be seen as custom labels.
Okay. Okay. And these parsers, would it be the part of the Q1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So at the moment we use some parsers, but we use third-party parsers. We probably will improve their parsers, so make some contribution to them if we will decide to implement this SQL commenter feature, and so reuse it. So it will be part of our contribution goal for other libraries. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then thanks, Nurlan. Anybody has any questions? Nobody's interested in your parsers, Nurlan. I see. Okay. Okay. Then about new problem statement for DBaaS. And again, guess who will present this?
Yeah, it's again me. Yeah, so since it's going to be public, I will not share the document. So I will just explain what we are going to do. So the main goal for this phase is make it as simple as possible. So we will let use our DBaaS for users who even don't know about Kubernetes. So we will set up a Kubernetes cluster for them. We will simplify our UI for them. So probably we will simplify our API to make it possible to write some simple jobs to run it during the CI stuff or maybe something else. And everything is in scope of this phase. So we're also going to improve our UI, not only for simplifying it, but just also supporting some big, so large scale deployments. So because right now we are requesting status of database clusters, Kubernetes clusters from Kubernetes itself. So we are going to cache it or maybe so improve, optimize logic on our side to not make our so PMM die from load. And we are working on improving documentation. So in the last months, we improved DBaaS registering Kubernetes cluster just by copying and pasting kubeconfig generated by AWS. So it probably was already shared. So we are working on making everything as simple as possible. That's all.
Also, I would like to remind that the link to the document with these problem statements will be attached to the page, which will be sent to you, the link to this page after the meeting with the recording, of course.
Yeah.
So then we can start with management features about silencing alerts. Mr. Da Silva.
Hey, yeah. So yeah, we heard some complaints about well, when you have many alerts, it becomes a pain to silence or unsilence all of them. So yeah, we decided to have two bulk actions. Right now, you can silence or unsilence all of them. So it's just clicking here, and instead of going one by one, should do the trick. And you can still go one by one, of course. But if you prefer to do it all at once, you can just click here. And these will just go through every alert and apply the action. So every new alert that might come afterwards will still be either activated or not. So this only applies to the ones you have the moment you click it. So yeah, if someone has something to ask.
Thank you for saving the users from many clicks. Good work.
Yes, thank you.
Fabio, I have one question. Does the silence all apply to even the alerts on the next page?
Yeah. Even if you have multiple pages, it should apply to all of them because it's done on the backend side. So yeah.
Okay.
A quick question from me. Do we fire just one request, backend request, or as many as there are records?
No, it's just one request, yeah.
Okay, cool, excellent.
Okay, any other questions for this stuff? Then thanks, Fabio. Then we have section for Artem. Artem, can you please tell us about the decoupling alert templates?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Did you see my screen? Do you see my screen, actually?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Okay, here is the problem. Before we keep this relation with between alert template and alert rule created from that template. And we prevent you from deleting template if it is used by some existing alert rules. The problem is that we allow users to put template as a file on a disk. And we will read this file on server startup. And we can prevent user from deleting this template. If this file will be dropped, it will break some existing alert rules. So the solution was pretty simple. Right now, we copy everything that we need from template into the rule itself. So we can reproduce it, this rule over and over again, even if a template doesn't exist anymore. So demo is pretty simple. Here I have some template that I've created just now, and if I will use it and create some test alert rule, now I can just drop this template, and alert rule will work as before. I can even edit it, and I can even copy it, because everything that I need to make a copy located in the alert rule itself. So it was a potential a place to bugs, so we just covered it. That's all actually. Pretty trivial stuff. Yeah, next item in the list also on me. We made a small, I would say, pre-investigation about Grafana alerts, and I should say the Grafana team did a really good job. So their alerting system that they introduced in Grafana 8 really good. It's really complex. It's feature rich. It allows you to create really complex stuff. And for now, it is not obvious what we're going to do with our solution, because as alerting system, their solution is better. It's integrated inside Grafana, so you can jump from the alert to particular dashboard and so on and so on. But we have these awesome alert templates. I would say it's our main feature. So right now we should investigate Grafana 8 alerts more, and we should understand who can we integrate our alerting ideas, mainly our alerting templates, into Grafana alerting system. So here we need some time and for investigation actually. Yeah, that's all for now.
And I want to add that's for support team, that's what we're currently experiencing. They have three kinds of alerting now. It's our like first version, like this first version of alerting. That we have alert manager, and then we have that's integrated alerting we are working for, and we have like that's Grafana 8 alerting, and that's for customers are very confusing. So we need a solution that's if we go purely to our alerting, so we need to understandable solution for wide node Grafana 8 alerting. That's are very nice now. Maybe it makes sense to spend time to integrate our alerting with Grafana 8, because that's what is currently says it's our customers who are not very like who do not want to integrate some current solution. They are very confused about which alerting system to use and for which to investigate time. This is currently like
I think you're bringing a good question. So it is a challenge, actually, 3 different systems, and we agree with this. And this is why, as Artem mentioned, like we have already done an initial investigation to see what the differences are, pros and cons, some of the features that we don't have, Grafana has, and vice versa. So essentially, like Artem mentioned, like to do a feasibility study, is it even possible to marry to get the best of all the systems, so that we can come up with one solution, not too many?
Yeah, that's actually what would be easier for our users.
Yeah, we need time. I'm afraid this is we need time. We cannot answer that question right now. Which one will win? Is it a hybrid? Is it like one of the systems will stay there? We cannot say at this moment of time, but definitely that's a challenge.
Yeah, but that's I just like want to focus it because we need that answer sometime, and we understand you cannot say it right now, but well, at some time we will have to do it. And actually, which would help if you like say like make like official one, which I understand it's not now, like what is our way, what we are going to do, so we can in support we can refer to this official policy and make a suggestion to our customers based on this.
Also, our next point in this presentation would be about how we are trying, to update the Grafana 8, and then we can just, after we know the answer to this, we can start marrying the PMM alerting, our alerting, and Grafana one. Yeah. So Fabio, can you tell us?
So some days ago I left a message on PMM dev. There's a feature branch there, so feel free to test it because we are constantly updating it as we fix some stuff, but most part of it is fixed. We have two main problems.
Sorry for interruption, Fabio. So you're talking about upgrading to Grafana 8, yeah?
Yeah.
And what capabilities does it introducing to us?
No, so first we have the alerting, then the alerting as we talked. So I still haven't looked at it with well, the way it should. But yeah, it's still here. It's enabled by default. That's that policy. And also we have this Grafana Live feature. They use now WebSockets to do that. I still haven't tried it, but it's enabled as well. We just had to do some small changes on our Nginx, but it seems to be working. So at least those two I can point out. And I was always saying we have now two bigger problems. The first one is that on Quan we were using this chart, the bar chart components, and they removed it on version 8 completely. And so right now we have to build our own version. So we are working on that. So yeah, too bad it happened. But and the second one regards our plugins, because right now they are slowly dropping support for unsigned plugins, which is our case. Right now we are whitelisting it. They still allow you to do it, so you can just whitelist it, and Grafana will just start normally. But we are taking a look at it, and I'm trying to sign it to see how it goes. And if it goes fine, we can then decide if we keep whitelisting it or if we just publish it. So
and you mentioned that it's slowly removing the support of this. What does it mean slowly? Do we have the timeline for this?
No, I checked their website. They don't have a date, but the truth is on version 7 you could have it without whitelisting. Right now you have to whitelist it, so I guess maybe soon they will just drop it. I don't know if version 9 or not, but I guess it might happen in the future. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and the second one is this ClickHouse. So this is the one we use usually by Vertemedia. We are having some problems with the signature because we are using the latest version, but Grafana keeps telling us that the content doesn't match the signature for some reason. And so we are trying to use this one and see if it works. So this one is still in beta version. It's by Grafana themselves. So yeah, we are taking a look and see if it works or not. So yeah, those two problems, the signatures and the chart component.
Okay.
Yeah.
One question, maybe this is not for Fabio, but for our QA team. It will be very interesting to see how the performance is Grafana, and maybe it starts consuming more resources after update. And if yes, in such case, we have to adjust requirements for PMM server at all, because it will be maybe surprise for our end users that after updating to new PMM server version, it starts consuming a lot of more resources. We have to prepare our customers for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Grafana consuming more during runtime. What I can tell you right now is the build itself, it consumes more memory than before. But I'm not sure about when it's running itself. But yeah, we should take a look at that.
Yeah, I think we should check CPU and memory consumption, at least.
Oh, Puneet, we need a new dog then.
Yeah, we've made a note of this. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else has questions related to Grafana upgrade? No? Okay. Thanks, Fabio. What else? Then we're having the portal team. Zoriana, I believe you have something to say, yes?
At least hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
There is not much changed for Portal currently, but there are a couple of improvements that we have been working recently. The one of them is just this delete member icon. Sorry, I'm updating it. So we added the user email to this model because previously it was not obvious what member is going to be deleted from the organization. The next item, actually on dashboard, we are currently storing all the information that we are receiving from ServiceNow for Percona customers, and the next improvement was done for entitlements. Now users can see the expiration date of the entitlements and all the information that we have for this or that entitlement. And we can also collapse or expand every entitlement's information. And also we have implemented the link for opening a new ticket for customers. This link is navigating us to ServiceNow, and you see no need to log in because I'm already logged in ServiceNow. And if I would be not logged in, I will just have the option to log in with Percona account. Actually, their users can select their environments and open, I don't know, some ticket to spot some problem, etc. And also, this connect your PMM was already implemented. Like you see, there is the green tick marking that there are already some instances connected. There is a bunch of test instances, and I have also connected my like you can see, sorry, you can see it also in the list, this one, and I can also navigate to this instance by clicking on the address of this instance. If user like unlinks, disconnects the PMM from Portal, it will disappear from this list. Also, we have collected some feedback from different departments and also from team itself. We had some brainstorming sessions, and we will be working in this quarter on improving the onboarding experience for portal users, and there are already a couple of initiatives that we are going to implement. And actually, the ongoing work is about implementing this dashboard information for contacts and also for entitlements and tickets in PMM. So that's it for now. Any questions?
Lance, yeah, please.
Sorry, me again. There's this button called Open New Ticket, but if I click on it, I'm not actually opening a new ticket. Or am I confused?
No, you're not opening a new ticket. You just navigate into ServiceNow. There is a bunch of options in ServiceNow, and it depends on the environment you have. You can submit the customer success ticket, then also support ticket. There are a variety of tickets. So we are just for now pointing the user to ServiceNow, and they will decide what kind of ticket they should open.
Maybe then the description of the button is a bit confusing or misleading. That's just my initial reaction to this.
What do you think it should say, Lance? What is the better label to this button?
Well, right now it's a link to ServiceNow, right? So how could we describe this?
Yeah.
Get details about my tickets, or further, I don't know, somehow
takes you to a place where you can open a ticket.
Or that, right? Maybe there's a direct link in ServiceNow that we can point to that really starts with a dialogue to create a new ticket instead of just dropping me in the ServiceNow front page. I don't know, somehow this feels like we are putting the user somewhere and they land where they don't expect it. At least that was my initial reaction, having never seen this before.
I have another question.
We didn't have a better version.
Once you press this button, it starts a flow of ticket creation. Does it really matter whether it will be on the same page or it will be on ServiceNow side?
Well,
we should answer this question, Max. Who do you want to answer this question? Is it Lance or?
Yeah, Lance.
Okay.
So, well, my expectation clicking on that link is really getting a dialogue that allows me to open a ticket, ideally within this interface. I'm not sure if that's even possible or advisable, but right now, open a new ticket and just getting redirected to ServiceNow start page is kind of meh. Right, it's just really about the text, open new ticket sets expectations. And by clicking on it, they're not being fulfilled because I'm not ending at a dialogue that allows me to open a new ticket right away. That's all I'm trying to convey.
No, this is fair. This is absolutely fair, Lance, and I think that's great feedback. We had a challenge again because opening a new ticket means you have to choose a category. Like we cannot suggest that all of your tickets are fit into the general category, right?
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, we cannot know for you. We cannot decide for you. This is why the flow. Maybe the label is a little bit misleading, but actually what you see now is maximum flexibility that we were able to offer versus just pretending they all go to general to the general category, and you will sort it out in ServiceNow, which would be a bigger problem, right? So that was the choice, hard choice, but still.
Fair enough. And I mean, it's a start that I'm even actually able to go to ServiceNow right out of the portal. So
yeah, but good question. Like maybe we can put a better label so we don't suggest we will open a page where you will create. We will take you to ServiceNow. So yeah, we'll think about that. So
thanks.
Guys, for me it also looks like very weird And even we have many tickets, if we can have like open customer success, support, consulting. Actually, that's not much tickets that customers could open. It's support ticket, it's customer success, it's consulting, and that's managed services. I believe that's it. So we have just these departments.
You mean like we can still take you to a much later phase in ServiceNow where all of the fields will be pre-filled, right? Is that what you?
Yes, it's actually what I expect when I see open new ticket, and then if I see that's then I moved to some start page. I'm not seeing like how can I move. Either make it like clear, please go ServiceNow and work, but I don't know, it would be lengthy. So
yeah, okay, well, we'll just we'll work on this. We'll investigate what's possible, consult with IT, and well, we'll see. Next time we'll present, we'll see whether or not this will look different, depending on the feasibility again.
Also, we're having in chat some suggestions, like from Tatiana, just call the button request something, more general button. Yeah.
Well, issue here, if you're coming to ServiceNow homepage, it's like I need to check that's what customers is. It's maybe not obvious. That's like it would see some dashboard. It's probably not obvious like request something. So it should be either we should not like put request or should be like go to portal and I don't know.
Yeah, agree. We'll definitely discuss this on our next grooming session or even earlier, because the customer experience is the main stuff currently for the portal. Yeah, we can provide a lot of new features, but if it's not clear how to use them, then we'll fail. Definitely. Anybody else has a question to Zoriana?
Also more of an enhancement request, sorry, but if possible, I mean, we have a list of tickets now. What happens if I click on them? Will I be redirected directly to ServiceNow in the ticket view?
Let me find my test ticket. Yeah, you will be redirected to the ticket you created.
Awesome. Very nice.
There is the information.
Perfect.
Good. Well, we're having, I believe, the position of UI UX specialist. Lance, would you like to apply?
Don't tempt me. It is something that I'm very passionate about, so sorry about that.
Okay. Then thanks, Zoriana, for presentation.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep. Now, Artem, again, advisors checks.
Yeah. Advisors checks. Okay, look at this. We have a bunch of new awesome STT checks that our database experts prepared for us and for our customers. It's awesome. The list is huge, and it was actually a challenge for STT framework itself, advisors framework itself. So we found several bugs during preparation of these new checks, and also we faced some limitations of current framework or runtime. And right now we're working closely to our experts to figure out what we should do next, how we should improve that runtime. We start filling our backlog with tickets. So for now, it's more or less clear what we want and the direction of evolution of this advisors framework. So this quarter we will work on those improvements. So in general, for now, it allows STT allows, or advisors framework, whatever, allows only really basic stuff where you can select something from the database and somehow process with script. The plans is to support multiple queries or multiple data sources in the single check. Also persisting data between checks runs, and also support of metrics, grabbing metrics inside check. So it will be a huge improvement, I believe. So we are working on that.
And do we have the list, the full list somewhere in Confluence?
Well, we have this in our repos, but I'm not sure that we have the Confluence page for that. Yeah, I will share a link to the repo in the chat.
In the document, can you please attach to the position where it's like advisors checks Artem? Yeah, please add the link here. Yeah, repo is even better, I believe, than Confluence.
Also, all the stuff is released. You also can take a look in your PMM instance if you have one. So just open STT and you will see.
Okay. Any questions to advisors? Nope. Okay. Then we're having next. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to ask something, like, because while Artem was talking, he was kind of like sometimes this is STTs and then sometimes the checks and sometimes it's advisors. So at what point do we kind of merge the name and decide on one to stick with? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused, same as you. Well, a few years ago, it was STT security threat tool, and the main point was about security issues. Right now, it's I would say it's more. It's also about configuration, performance, So probably we will rename it in advisors. But in general, as I understand, advisors, it is this STT tool and also our alerting system. So we have naming issues, but yeah, probably we will rename it. I hope so, at least.
Well, there's definitely an initiative to call them all advisors. And this tool, this particular tool, is gonna get renamed to the security advisor. But actually, like there will be two branches. One category will go to the security advisors, and the other category will probably go to the performance advisors, because not all of them are directly related to security, right, Roma? Roma is on the call, so he will keep me honest, maybe, if he wants to.
Yeah, that's true. So the work on renaming and making clear the naming and positioning is in progress. So I think during this quarter we'll have much bigger clarity.
Yeah, and I believe the glossary of terms will also be created, Lance, for this. Because the same we had with integrated alerting, with these advisors, so stuff changes. You need to be in conformance with all this stuff. Any other questions for Artem? Nope. Okay. Then the next in our list is Catalina, showing us the new approach for documentation we're having in Portal. Hello, do we have Catalina here? Yep.
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I'm going to share my screen. So I also wanted to give an update on what we've been doing on the documentation for Percona platform portal. I've created this online help from scratch. In terms of functionality, it covers all the tasks that users can perform on the platform. In terms of content, the approach we have chosen leans towards minimalism, which doesn't mean that we document the minimum, but it means that we don't document the obvious and we don't add screenshots for every step in the procedure. For example, we removed the section we intended to add about how to reset the password because the instructions on the UI were clear enough and users could understand how to do that without going to read about how to reset the password. So that's an example of minimalism in the documentation. The audience that we have in mind are very technical users who don't come to the online help because they don't have anything better to do when they're online and they really like reading instruction manuals. But users who get stuck with a task that they can't figure out by themselves, so they come here for quick help in order to quickly recover from a problem. We don't do an inventory of the UI and buttons like we sometimes do on the PMM documentation. So we moved away from this, and this is something we do differently on the online helper platform. Here's an example of what we do in PMM. We tell the users exactly what UI options they have without explaining what it means. So users don't want to read about what they can already see on the UI. Right, and apart from that, I also wanted to let you know that we update the documentation for the platform releases, and we also update the PMM documentation if they get impacted. This is how the topics look like. We're also in touch with marketing and we're also in touch with marketing to make sure that we have a consistent message. From Lucas, who provides us with help with images like this infographic. I think we can also use the dark theme. And what else? What did I want to say? Oh, future plans. We want to make the documentation a bit more interactive in the future. We want to add more videos that explain tasks because users prefer videos when they are online. And we also want to add feedback form at some point so that users can let us know how good we're doing with the topics. And that's it.
Okay, I have a few questions because that's actually for support and customers. I believe Percona's documentation is not perfect still. First question is, why do you think users prefer video nowadays? Did you see some statistics, or how do you, why did you make such conclusion?
Well, there are some research that has been done, especially, that users also go to YouTube to search for information, and Google is not the only method for searching for information nowadays. Especially for tutorials, users prefer to find information online, and simply because we don't really like to read text when we are online. We prefer to do more interactive stuff, and yeah.
Actually, what is at first, like when I search for some documentation regarding to motorcycling, I use videos, I search YouTube. But if I search some documentation regarding databases, I use Google and other textual search, because watching tutorial when you need answer to your question, it's quite takes time. But it's, I do not mind, like when you not criticize, you are adding more videos. But I want to say that in support, we have sometimes provide customers answers answers, and like we ask something and we just cannot tell them, please watch the video. We need to copy paste them comments that are supposed to work. That's how PMM team, how our products team thinks our product should work. So just like there is no more sense to it can be nice. It's actually a tutorial is really good thing, but what I wanted to say that it should not be like replace text to information. It should be add-on. Like you are learning something, tutorial is good thing, but if you are referring something, you need it's still in text.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to say that we're going to replace the text information with videos. I meant to say that at the beginning of a procedure, we can show a video version of that, especially for long procedures that get more complicated, so that users who prefer to watch a tutorial can do that. But also keep the text. It also helps with searches so that they get to the right page. So they're definitely not going to be a replacement. It's just going to add more value to the information and help users.
And anyway, it's like
tasks.
And speaking about comments, there should be textual forms so people just can copy paste. Second issue that I want to raise is like you said you rewrote somehow PMM documentation. What did you do?
No, I was just showing an example saying from the PMM documentation here, saying that to say that we don't document in the platform documentation, we don't document the we don't do an inventory of the buttons that we have, like we sometimes do in PMM. And I was showing this example where we tell users what options they can find on the UI, but we don't explain what this actually means. They can already see that we have these options on the UI. So reading about the options that they can already see doesn't bring much value. So we organize the information more task-based instead of an inventory of what they can already see. That's what I meant.
Thank you. This makes very sense, and this is pain, and especially when it's like when which is like why I pointed out, like in support we need to send customers something like to do here. For example, if we are saying like this sending for SMTP email server, and we see these types, we need like kind of explanation what does it mean. And I absolutely agree with you that needs to be done. There are also things that we miss from documentation is like kind of doing some kind of maybe advanced stuff or some kind of not very straightforward. We have like quite very straightforward documentation. But for example, we sometimes need to ask customers to connect to PMM Docker and to run some commands to connect to Victoria metrics, to connect to ClickHouse, or maybe do it ourselves to help customers to understand what is wrong with PMM server. There is no such documentation. There are also issues. Some documentation. It's unfortunately I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's how it should be like done at this stage. Sometimes we are searching like in Google some documentation how to do one thing in PMM. It's returns data for PMM server 1, and that's okay. But when I search for same data for PMM server 2, it just doesn't exist. Yeah.
As this feedback is very interesting, I think I'd like to get in touch with you so you can tell me more about what kind of issues users have and how we can help prevent those with the documentation by providing the information you need to provide them in support, so that so we can reduce the customer tickets, if that makes sense, if we can help with that.
Yeah, we can have a separate session for this, just to get the feedback, not only, for example, from Roma, Holman, but also from Sveta, So yeah, we can work on this.
Yeah, it's actually, that's one more concerns than I previously, I'm complaining about documentation. That's I got the answer. Please report the documentation ticket, and we actually do it from time to time. But we are not happy about how these documentation tickets are updated because, for documentation, we expect that there is no cut fix, and we ask something that we need to have like documentation updated almost immediately, but it sometimes take much faster to get real bug fix in our products than to have documentation updates. It's not only about PMM, it's about actually all products.
Agree, yeah.
And that's why it's like kind of makes people like disappointed to report the new documentation bug. And like we are in support thinking about what needs to do, write knowledge base article or write documentation bug. And we prefer even write knowledge base article just because, well, it could be both, but because knowledge base article.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and documentation.
So let's have this documentation session, because I believe it's not only PMM related, you know, the whole Percona stuff, it should be unified. Yeah, so let's have the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we'll, that would be very useful.
I believe we have this technical writers squad in PMM. We can organize this stuff.
Okay,
this collaboration, yeah.
Please do, and if you tell me in advance, I can find some my teammates from support, so we can. It's not only my opinion; it's opinion about other people's.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Sveta. Then we had Max first raise the hand.
Catalina, as I remember, we wanted to share some news regarding platform API documentation. Can you show something?
Oh, I didn't prepare for that, for the platform API documentation, to be honest. I only prepared for this, and I don't have much to show about that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe next session.
We can have it next time. Yeah, why not? Yeah, Alex.
Yes, thank you, Taras. I think I have two short questions. One question: is it possible, Catalina, to drop a link here which would allow the user to edit to suggest an edit to the docs? Like, it would take you to GitHub and then they can contribute?
Yeah, I think we already have this here, but I don't know how it's supposed to work.
Okay. So just to fix this one. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, you have this little icon. Okay, cool. So maybe something we can make it work. And the second question I had: can you go ahead and delete the last section of your URL, including the maybe leave the slash, but yeah, just remove connect PMM HTML. See what happens. Yeah, it doesn't work for me. How does it work for you? Maybe delete the slash as well. Try to delete the slash. Yeah. Oh yeah. You see? So maybe also something we can improve, because I started typing like docs.percona.com and then /Percona platform and left it there, and I wasn't getting the page. So did it twice and then just realized that somehow it redirects you unless you have the full URL, or at least put the slash.
Can you submit a help desk request for that, Alex? That's something that IT needs to fix because they own the redirections to those pages.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's the internal IT, right? Who take care.
The thing is that this documentation site is currently hosted on Netlify under a different host name, and we use a proxy to redirect to that instance.
All right. Okay, will do. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions to Catalina about the documentation? Because I have one. And we have these two different approaches for this platform portal documentation and PMM. Are we ready to support two different types, or it will be unified?
It will be unified.
Okay.
So right now we're in the middle of a transition of migrating all of our documentation to a new hosting platform and using a new rendering engine to generate the documentation. And what you're seeing here, the portal documentation is already on the new platform, while the PMM docs are still not migrated yet. And the plan was on moving everything to Netlify, but Netlify recently changed their pricing model, and we have to find an alternative. So this is now more important, finding a new home and then continue the migration.
Okay, thanks. So next, I believe, thanks, Catalina, for presentation.
Thank you.
Let's go on to the next items we're having. And the next item is from Implex team. We're having Alex. Do you want to drop some words?
Yeah, I
before?
just wanted to, you guys may know Implex already, but I guess it's not all of you. So Implex is a company with whom we are partnering, and they employ great engineers. So right now on the call, we have Tatiana, I guess, from Implex, and Alexei. So as part of this partnership, we are asking Implex to work on the implementation of the telemetry version 2. So I guess what Alexei will be demoing right now is telemetry v2. Roughly the timeline we think to get telemetry v2 out the door in Q1. So Alexei, go ahead and take the lead and show us something.
Yep. Hi guys. So I'll start sharing my screen, and I'll start with a high-level architecture diagram so that everyone understands what we are working on. So do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So on the left, you can see PMM and its core component PMM managed. On the right, Percona portal with telemetry D. So in current version, version 1, PMM sends a telemetry to portal so that Percona people can observe how the software is used, what features are in use, so that we can work on features that are most used. So, and in current version in V1, it's all hard-coded. So in case you want to change any parameter or extract more data to see how the software is used, like in a wider range, so you have to change data store, and you have to change PMM managed, updated, and users should use the newer version. So, and the idea with V2 is to have it more flexible, so that we can have like some kind of a configuration file so that you can update it, and then automatically new data can flow to the data store, and data store can support all the future updates in this case. So in this case, we don't need to change anything on portal side nor on PMM side. So only configuration file update is required. Plus users can see exactly what is pulled from their system. Okay. So when we talk about PMM managed, it has access to a couple of databases. So it's Postgres database PMM, Victoria Metrics, and ClickHouse query analytics database. So basically, we'll have a configuration file that specifies from what data source you want to pull data, and you specify the query, and then you map this query to a matrix. So basically to a key value format, so that it's sent to telemetry D and stored. Afterwards, we can use Grafana and connect ClickHouse and see the data that was stored. Okay, so and now I'm gonna show you the part of configuration and storing. Unfortunately, for now, we don't have widgets prepared for Grafana. So it will be, I'll be showing you the exact data that is stored in telemetry. Okay, so here is configuration file, and I have only one metric configured. So it will use query analytics database, and it will fire this select statement. And then we will map individual column to metric, so that it will be sent in one chunk to telemetry D. So I have started everything, and then I start only two components that I want to debug, which is telemetry D and PMM. So I will also check that I have no data in the data table. So it's empty. So telemetry D starts, and PMM. So every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, this data should be sent. It's for development. In real world, it will be sent once a day, but it can be configured by parameters. So it starts, and then we can see that some data flow in. So, and as you can see, we have some metrics, right? And imagine that you decided to have more information, so that you added additional couple of parameters. So at this point, I changed only parameters, and then I use vectorial metrics, and I use PMM Postgres database. So, and after I just restart PMM, new data will be sent, and I should see more data. So, and now you can see that it has a lot more information. So using this data, we can create like different widgets, and this data format is scalable so that we can have any other information in the future. So what we are working right now and what is left, we have to create widgets, create signing of the configuration so that end users cannot change it, because it can be harmful or it can expose potential vulnerability to us. Next, we have to perform performance testing to make sure that it's scalable and works well, and cover with unit tests. And after that, I think we can start QA process, and yeah, that's basically it. Do you have questions?
Even
Well,
Roma?
I'm personally like the only. It's not a question. It's a comment. I'm personally impressed with what I saw, because I guess this telemetry will empower the product team to make more informed decisions going forward, and about new product adoptions, about the directions to take, and stuff like that. So that's great stuff. Thank you very much, Alexei. And Tatiana, of course, and the team, because I know you're not alone. You're many engineers working on this project.
Yeah, taking into account that few of them right now with COVID, this was challenging to be prepared for today. But thank you for the nice words.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Any questions about the telemetry to Tatiana?
Yeah, I think Taras, you were concerned whether or not people are aware of telemetry v2, and I guess we have shown the telemetry version 1. I guess we have shown some time ago. Maybe not all of you, but there are dashboards which show how many PMM instances are out there, and those are only instances which have the telemetry setting turned on, which do report telemetry data, which is not much right now. So we want to collect a little bit more data, for to be able to develop, make sound decisions in the future.
Mm-hmm. My question was like initially, for example, we have here on the call, let's take Michael Coburn, yeah? Is Michael aware of what's happening, why we are doing this? Or Lance raising hand, yeah?
Again. Just curious if we have any plans on publishing the data that we captured there. Are we going to make, let's say, Grafana dashboards of those telemetry metrics available to the public as well? Reason I ask is because in a previous open source project that I'd worked with, we also enabled a telemetry module, and we basically captured and made the data available to all the users for them to also learn about how others are using the project and what kind of scenarios and configurations are popular. So it was really useful information that we then also regularly kind of interpreted and extracted and put into a blog post and sharing, hey, this is the metrics that we capture, and this is kind of the insight that we've gathered. And these are kind of the product decisions that we've made based on the information we've collected. So giving the users a much better understanding of why we're collecting the information, how they benefit from it.
Roma, can you take it?
Yeah, I would say the information about what we collect definitely will be visible in public to the users. That's why we, at the initial stage, plan to update this configuration with releases, so we can full control of what what we add into the collection. As for now, there's no plan to make large public dashboards exposing all the data. We definitely will do some summaries and the blog post of where the market is going, but the answer to will we publish this publicly, I think, to be defined now, at least from my standpoint.
Fair enough. Thank you.
And if you don't mind, I would like to comment on that. So actually, we cannot, we can provide the same dashboard, but it will have no sense for them because, for instance, if we specify the location, like a map of a world, right? And then it will be one country. Then we specify the used versions, and it will be one version or a couple of versions. So it will probably make no sense for the end users.
Well, some of the aggregates, I agree with Lance, some of the aggregates they would make sense. We just have to see which ones. We just have to see how to properly, visualize them, what kind of value they can bring. But that's fair, I guess, because on one hand, you're asking us to provide data, we do. On the other hand, what kind of decisions are you able to make? Does it even make sense for me, being a PMM user, to even enable the telemetry? Why would I? And so I guess, thank you very much, Lance. I think this is a very good, very good feedback, and we will definitely want to spend some time reflecting on this.
Yeah, I left some links in the chat that give you some more details of what I was referring to. So the one is the description of the telemetry module, how to enable it, and then a link to the dashboard where you can see the resulting outcome of that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. One of the benefits is just transparency. We're not collecting to sell it to someone because essentially this is all anonymous, right? We're collecting it for,
absolutely.
These are the decisions that we make, for example, and that's great feedback to the community.
Thanks.
Selling it for Google, Apple, we're using for different reasons, right? Okay. Any other questions, maybe? 1, 2, 3. No? Okay. Let's move on then. Thanks, Alexei. Thanks, the Implex team. Let's move on to, again, Alex, Architecture Foundation team. What do you have for us?
So I guess, Max will want to talk about a few things related to the portal. So Max, without further ado, we're running out of time, so maybe you can jump straight in and talk about what kind of stuff we faced when we wanted to connect PMM to the portal, and regarding the several domain names issue. Those are the two things we want to talk about first.
Yeah, let me share my screen, and we'll talk about the problem statement first of all. Sorry. Sorry. First of all, if some of you try to connect PMM to portal, and once you sign in using a Percona account, sign in to PMM, and you may observe that role of this user is always was set to viewer. This is it was a limitation of the first version, and now we are ready to introduce solution that will be implemented soon about transferring the role from the portal to PMM server. Just a short demo. First of all, I just signed in using admin credentials and show that there is no any additional users. And now this my instance, my PMM server is already connected to portal, and I have there several users. I mean in portal. And now if I sign in using my credentials. So this user has org admin role on portal. And once I sign in, a new user is created in Grafana with role admin. We have a strict mapping, only org admin portal users. We have roles admin in PMM server. The rest will be just viewer. We decided. Wow. Something has
I think you were. I think Max, you were on the. No, you were on the 127, not on the public page. I guess I saw in your URL. So I don't know if maybe you want to log out and log back in.
Yeah, this is a demo effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. Just believe there will be an admin. I just checked before, and something has happened. And one more thing that I wanted to share is several domains.
Sorry, Max. Sorry for interruption, guys. Maybe we'll move these 3 topics left for the next demo, because I see some people already dropped off the call. Yeah, and also it's those who left may not receive the information as needed.
Yeah,
already.
Teres, you know, if I have to ask you for a favor, because this is now the 3rd time, you know, our presentation is being moved from one meeting to another.
Architect
so maybe
and
you can,
foundation
for the
team
next
would be
one.
the first one
Okay,
to present.
that would be awesome.
The
Yeah, that
next
would
demo.
be awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Deal.
Deal, guys. Then, sorry for this meeting to be 34 minutes late. I believe we will adjust this time slot for this for the next time, because currently we're learning. As you see, we have more interactive format for the demos now, so it may take more time, but we'll try to do our best to keep it, you know, short and informative. Thanks for participation, guys. See you on the next one.
You too.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.